This is ABC 15 News Taking Action.
As we come up on 6 o'clock, we are starting this hour with our big story. A wildfire is burning near Cave Creek. Thanks for waking up with us for ABC 15 Mornings. I'm Nohelani Graff.
And I'm Zach Crenshaw filling in for Allison this morning. Well, it's dubbed the Mountain Fire, and crews tell us it has destroyed more than 6,000 acres so far.
We do have a crew live on scene this morning, and we're giving you as close as we can get of a view to safely show you how this fire is burning. You see the smoke in the background there below that first hill, behind that first hill. This fire sparked yesterday around noon. Investigators say this is a human-caused fire.
And here's a look at the area on a map. It's burning east of Cave Creek between Bartlett Lake and Horseshoe Lake. The fire grew so rapidly and the smoke so intense, fire crews were having a difficult time on the ground.
Today it was really smoky most of the day. Couldn't get a really good view of what was happening in there. The tankers had to kind of slow down for a while because they couldn't see where they were dropping the retardant, and that's not helpful at all.
Thankfully, no structures have been threatened and no one has been hurt so far. Crews will be back out there today working to contain the fire. We've already seen them on the ground. Campgrounds, lakes, and some roads are closed until crews can get a better handle on this fire.
People are certainly going to want to plan for that because the weekend is here. A lot of them are going to be seeking out, water in the lakes to help cool off.
Absolutely. And he mentioned winds there. You heard that firefighter talk about them. Certainly going to be a problem today.
Well, they won't be too big of a problem because there aren't going to be very strong winds. But what will be the problem is that air quality for everybody else because of that smoke that's been building up. We also already have air quality alerts in effect today and tomorrow, high pollution advisories. So it's going to be unhealthy for sensitive groups. If you have any kind of respiratory problem, you will want to limit your time outside, and that smoke is only going to compound the problem. As far as fire danger across the state, here in the valley, we don't have high fire danger in the forecast here, but in the eastern portion of our state, north of the rim, north of Show Low and Heber, between 1 and 5 o'clock is when they are really ripe for wildfire conditions. We're talking dry, more breezes in that area, and hot conditions. Right now in the valley, we're also looking at that triple-digit heat for today, and so certainly that is going to be a problem for firefighters as well. They are not going to get much relief. Low 100s this weekend and then sizzling next week. I'll talk about that coming up in the full forecast.
Can't imagine the temperature out there and all that gear. Well, new this morning, Governor Doug Ducey going on a sign-a-thon, approving and vetoing dozens of bills just before Sunday's deadline. Now, the 40 that Governor Ducey passed include tightening the rules on people paid to collect signatures for citizen ballot initiatives, limiting how state agencies can increase fees on anything from drivers to nursing licenses, requiring testing for impurities in medical marijuana, and nearly doubling the minimum coverage requirement for car insurance. Now, Ducey vetoed 4 bills in total. One would have tripled the daily stipend that lawmakers receive every day they work. Another, making solar batteries tax exempt, that's gone. And lastly, a bill limiting how prosecutors are able to charge a criminal defendant as a serial offender.
Happening now, a jury in Tucson is deliberating the case of a border activist accused of harboring illegal immigrants. 36-year-old Scott Warren is part of a group that leaves food and water in the desert for migrants who are trying to make it across the border. He is accused of trying to hide 2 men from Border Patrol, but Warren claims he was just giving them medical help. From live-in boyfriend to convicted killer, Robert Interval sentenced to more than 20 years in prison in the death of Christine Mustafa. The Phoenix woman's body was never found, but the jury still convicted him of second-degree murder. Mustafa's family saying that they are now at peace.
His prime years would have been gone. He will forever be a criminal. This is what we've been waiting for so long. It's such a sad yet great ending to what we've been grieving for so long.
Just trying to find some amount of closure for them. Now, Interval is not eligible for early release, so he is going to spend at least 23 years behind bars.
Major health concerns this morning as an outbreak of hepatitis A gets even worse in Arizona. The outbreak, which began last November in the Tucson area, just expanding to more than 350 cases total. At least 2 of those already turning deadly.
Okay, be mindful if you're out and about this weekend and you're heading toward the East Valley. The Loop 101 southbound is closed once again right now, and it means a major detour in the East Valley all weekend long.
All weekend. Here's Chelsea Davis with more on that and other traffic alerts you need to know before you head out town for the Valley.
I'm Chelsea Davis with a look at the closures happening on our freeways this weekend. East Valley has a lot of activity, so we'll start here. Loop 101 is going to close in the southbound direction from Warner all the way down to Loop 202. Santan. This is going to happen Friday all the way through early Monday morning. If you're wanting to travel in the area, you can use the frontage road. You have McClintock Drive, Dobson Road nearby. You can even hop over and use parts of I-10 or Country Club. That should help you. Now, for the 60, we have two different closures here. The US 60 will shut down eastbound from Val Vista Drive to Tomahawk Road Friday into Saturday. Then in the opposite direction, westbound from Tomahawk Road to Val Vista Saturday into Sunday. This is also going to close the connecting ramps from US 60 to Loop 202. This is what they call the Super Red Tan. The Loop 202 Red Mountain is meeting the Santan, so all of that will be restricted this weekend. You can use Baseline or Southern Avenue to get by instead. Another small closure, I-10 westbound ramp to eastbound US 60 Sunday into early Monday morning. It's also going to shut down the ramp at Baseline. You can use Priest Drive or Mill Avenue to enter US 60 there. Lots of different options, and we'll have them online for you as well. So go to abc15.com/traffic. You can also download our free mobile app to track your desert drive times, including the conditions, the congestion, the links to the traffic cameras, and find the best prices to fill up. Have a good weekend.
Chelsea, thanks. Well, certainly we'll see people driving out in the valley today, and when they park, they're probably going to put up one of those visors. You're starting to see them.
Got to remember, it has to be a habit now because you will pay for it if you forget.
The seatbelt, they can burn you. I mean, we're starting to finally get into that. Your car is an oven.
100%. So you've got to take precautions. You also have to capitalize on these early morning hours. That's when it's still tolerable out there. So right now we're in the 70s. So if you want to get out, still get that run in, now is the time to do it over the next couple of hours, because take a look at this. By 11 o'clock, we're already in the low 90s. We will top out in those triple digits today around the valley. So a pool day is certainly in order, but be mindful that UV index is at an 11. That's as high as it goes. It is extreme. We're talking a 10-minute burn time. That air quality, we do have that high pollution advisory in effect today and tomorrow. So if you have respiratory issues, then you'll want to be mindful and limit your time outside. No other weather alerts or storm chances in the forecast, but we also have much warmer temperatures ready to take hold. I'll show you how soon that changes coming up in that full, most accurate forecast.
No, hey, thanks. Well, the Toronto Raptors have a 3-1 lead over the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals, something the Warriors are used to having. As we look ahead to Game 5, Sports Director Craig Fouhy has a look at what's giving the Raptors this edge and what it may take for the Warriors to bounce back.
Craig Fouhy, Shane Dale, ABC 15 Sports here talking about Game 4 of the NBA Finals, which the Toronto Raptors won 105-92, and they now take a 3-1 lead. And Shane, let me just start with your initial reaction to this game.
I remember a few days ago when I picked the Warriors to win 4-0 in this series. It hasn't worked out so well. You know what? I'm shocked. I'm shocked that not only did the Raptors win another game, especially with Klay Thompson and Kevon Looney returning, but how easily they did it in the second half and how easily they came back from a first half deficit. They just about erased it by halftime. They poured it on in the second half. Kawhi Leonard once again got plenty of help. He had a great game.
He did.
He had plenty of help once again from Serge Ibaka off the bench, from Pascal Siakam. Kyle Lowry did all right. He had 7 assists, 10 points. So again, Kawhi Leonard getting that help, that's been the common denominator in all 3 wins for the Raptors.
And what's interesting, you mentioned this. I said before this thing ever started, the Warriors are going to win this in 5. Yeah. And then I thought, okay, maybe 6 after the Raptors took Game 1, the way
maybe
things
7
looked.
now.
But now I'm not so sure because of the injuries that the Warriors are suffering. Kevin Durant's still on the sidelines. He's not coming back, in my opinion. You look at Klay Thompson, came back, was solid last night. I mean, Klay Thompson finished with 28 points. He was solid for them. Kevon Looney came back, but wasn't himself. DeMarcus Cousins hasn't been himself, even though they brought him back. I just think right now the momentum is all on the court of the Raptors.
I agree, and I'm surprised just because I thought the Bucks actually had a better chance, Coach, of taking the Warriors to task in the NBA Finals. But Toronto's done an incredible job, and again, it comes with the support that Kawhi Leonard has gotten, something that really LeBron James last year didn't get, and that's why the Warriors swept him in 4 games. Plus, of course, the Warriors had Kevin Durant for that series. But even with Durant, Golden State beat Portland in 4 games. They swept them.
That's right.
I thought for sure that Golden State was going to make short work of Toronto. I understand losing Game 3, but Game 4 with not only Klay Thompson but Kevon Looney for depth and rebounding, getting him back as well. But the Warriors just didn't shoot well from 3-point range. They didn't dominate the glass.
Right.
Toronto matched them in just about every category.
And Shane, what surprised me too about that one, that could have potentially been the last game at Oracle Arena.
Yeah.
I thought the Warriors would come out on fire, and they did initially.
To a point.
To a point.
Yeah.
But I thought this is going to be their game where they're going to come back and win a game in Toronto, then come back in Game 6 and win it at home. Oracle Arena will go down as it's a championship again. Now I'm not so sure. I think Toronto might get this in 5.
I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe
That's
the
fair.
Warriors go down when the clock ticks down in the 4th quarter of Game
Right.
5 or whenever, and the Warriors are ahead. But I still think Toronto's got a lot of work to do. The Warriors are going to be a desperate team. Does Kevin Durant pull a Willis Reed and come back in Game 5? Steve Kerr said there's a chance that he'll come back in Game 5 or 6, so we'll have to see. But even without Durant, the Warriors won an NBA championship without him 4 years ago. So I'm shocked they're in this situation. I really am.
Historically, only one team in the NBA Finals has ever come back from a 3-1 deficit. And that was the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016 against the Warriors. So it's possible. I just don't know. With the Warriors not clicking on all cylinders, I don't know it's possible.
You think the Raptors?
I think the
pull it out on
Raptors
Monday?
get this one now.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Right.
I'm still leaning toward the Warriors finding a way to win. I know they're down 3-1, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Game 5 right here on ABC 15 Monday evening. We'll see you then.
Well, ABC 15 is already looking ahead to this year's anticipated dust storms. How new technology from the U of A is helping track these storms.
Also new this morning, it seems everyone has a smartphone, right? Even your kids. Why experts are saying these devices, though, could be harmful to their mental health.
And we will continue to monitor the mountain fire up near Cave Creek. Campgrounds evacuated, roads closed as firefighters work to contain those flames.
Get news, weather, and traffic 24/7
on the ABC 15 app.
You see it at every school and restaurant, kids on smartphones. Now, a growing number of teachers, parents, medical professionals, and researchers are sounding the alarm about kids and smartphone use. Experts say phones are playing a major role in their anxiety. One psychologist from San Diego State University says she found teens feel social media and their phones are mandatory. And a study in the American Academy of Pediatrics also found that excessive social media usage on phones leads to feelings of isolation, depression, and anxiety. Schools around the country are trying to get ahead of this with different kinds of programs. But experts say in order to avoid this, parents need to limit phone use at an early age.
Speaking of phones, are you tired of getting those endless calls from numbers that you don't recognize? Well, now there is a new line of defense against those annoying robocalls. The FCC has given phone companies permission to automatically block those calls without getting customers' permission. The carriers do not have to offer the service. They could even start charging a fee for it if they want to. Hopefully they don't, but maybe it's money well spent if you get enough of them.
Right.
Walmart is now offering a new take for online delivery wars. The retail giant is now offering to deliver groceries to your house and have the delivery person place the perishables in your refrigerator if you're not home. So a full service here. The cost has not been released, so we're also waiting for details on that and when they plan to roll out that service.
Could be a little interesting. Someone going through your fridge, all of a sudden you realize your milk's a little bit lower. Yeah. The Walmart guy took a swig.
Turning her pain into purpose. A Valley mom is now making comfort pillows for babies who are in the ICU.
Yeah, this is a purpose and a passion of hers. She knows all too well how scary and emotional it can be. And now she's hoping to help other parents. And that's why she is one of Nick's heroes.
Look at all these pillows. But these aren't for a pillow fight. Instead, they go to babies who are in the fight of their lives.
There's nothing more stressful for a family to be hospitalized, not only hospitalized, but in an intensive care unit with perhaps even a death-defying illness.
And that's something Laura Cupper knows all too well. In 2013, her son Preston was in the ICU suffering from breathing difficulties. A trying time where Laura had to lean on family and friends to prop her up. And that's where the pillows come in.
One of my friend's moms gave him a handmade pillow. And when he was on the ventilator, the nurses wanted me to bring something from home. So I brought these handmade pillows, and the nurses just went completely crazy over these because they could position him in bed.
From there, Laura and her mom started sewing pillows for other babies, which is how Pillows for Preston was born. This year alone, they've already made 1,200 pillows.
Coming from a parent of a sick child myself, thankfully he's okay, but you just get this sense of being alone. And if you have someone, a complete stranger, come in and give you something, that just gives you an idea that there's somebody out there thinking of you, and it gives you that little bit of hope that it's gonna be okay.
And Laura Cupper, that is why you are one of Nick's heroes.
Well, to show our appreciation for Laura, she got a $500 Visa gift card courtesy of your Valley Toyota dealers.
So we love featuring people like this because they're really making a difference. So if you are watching them and you think of somebody else, you know somebody who has the heart of a hero, head to abc15.com/heroes and you can nominate the person that you think we should feature.
Well, there's certainly some heroes out there today fighting the fire in this heat. 100+ degrees, and they're going to be out there all day trying to contain that fire. What are the temperatures going to be like?
It's going to be triple digits. It's going to be very difficult for them. The heat is not going to give them a break, and that's certainly the case for all of our first responders around the valley. Keep that in mind if you insist on hiking today. I know that the views are calling, especially as we get this live view. Piestewa Peak in the background. We've got clear blue skies across the valley, and it's 75 degrees right now. If you're going to get out and hike, you've got to do it early because it is going to be very warm today. Lots of water. You do not want to make our first responders hike up to get you and put their health at risk as well. Temperatures across the valley still very comfortable. Levine hanging on to the 60s this morning. 68 degrees for you. It's also 68 in Gilbert. Apache Junction down to 66 right now. Same temperature out in Buckeye, and we've got low 70s across the rest of the central portion of the valley. We also have upper 60s and low 70s across central and southern Arizona. Lake Havasu, the warmest spot in the state right now at this hour, already at 82 degrees. Further inland, a bit more comfortable in Prescott. You're in the low 50s right now. And north of the rim, we're looking at the mid 50s and even low to mid 40s, 45 in Flagstaff at this hour. We do have that air quality effect in alert for today, like we talked about. Unhealthy for those sensitive groups, so be mindful. Also, The heat will affect everyone today. We will hit triple digits across most of the valley for today. So we're talking about 102 in Gilbert and Chandler, as well as Maricopa. Those will be the warmest spots in the valley. But we're looking at 100 degrees in Scottsdale and Glendale, as well as Peoria. Northern portion of the valley may stay in the 90s for today, but still very warm. We're talking about 99, so you're right on the cusp if you're out in Surprise, as well as Deer Valley. Anthem and Cave Creek going to warm to the mid 90s for today, and we'll stay dry. And here's how we get to those temperatures hour by hour. By 8 o'clock this morning, we're already in those low 80s. We'll settle into the 80s until just before lunchtime, and by 11 o'clock we warm into the 90s. Then by the middle of the afternoon, that's when we hit those triple digits right around 3 o'clock, and we continue to climb from there and stay warm through the evening hours, dropping only into the 70s overnight. Futurecast showing us clear skies for the rest of the day statewide, not a cloud in sight as we move through the morning here, and those forecast highs across the state. Very warm across southern Arizona, 99 in Safford, as well as Casa Grande and Tucson. We're looking at triple digits along our western border in Lake Havasu and Bullhead City, but then beautiful temperatures if you're in the high country. 76 degrees in Flagstaff. We're talking about 87 in Sedona, 82 in Window Rock, same temperature in Show Low. Now, our weekend forecast still looks pretty good because we'll stay dry. Today will be the more mild day of the two. So sunny skies and low 100s for today. But tomorrow, look, hour by hour, we're already warmer as we match it up. In the morning, we'll be in the mid 80s already by 8 o'clock. By lunchtime is when we'll hit those triple digits on Sunday, and we'll warm to 105 tomorrow. So certainly starting to ramp up, and then it only continues from there. We have a very hot, dangerously hot work week ahead. I'm going to go over those temperatures and extreme heat advisories already in the forecast coming up in that 7-day forecast later this morning, Zach.
No, hey, thanks. The heat is on. Well, are you single and ready to mingle? How about on national TV? If so, today head to Chandler for the Bachelor casting call. Producers are going to be looking for contestants for season 24. Now, auditions will be held at Soho 63 from 1 until 5 today. You can find more details at abc15.com/bachelor. Well, still ahead, do-it-yourself home improvement projects. Our guest in the studio is going to help you spruce up your home with ease. And later, a major drug bust, taking thousands of dangerous pills off the streets right here in the Valley. Stay with us.
Okay, sir. Could you count to 10 for me? We're just checking your microphone.
1, 2, 3, 4,
He's counting.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Michael.
Michael?
Yeah. How long is this scheduled to go for?
Maybe 2.5.
Okay. Be concise. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? I was going to
Good.
say we got a tall guy in here. Zach Crenshaw, nice
Zach,
to meet you.
nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Nohe.
Hey, Nohe, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us this morning.
You bet.
So, do you want to go inside, or you want
Yeah,
me to?
I can.
It doesn't matter.
That's fine. So we're talking about house painting?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you go by Michael or Mike?
Michael.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. To making sure.
Maybe, if you don't mind, people that are challenged with color, maybe talk about how you approach coming up with color for a project.
Okay.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Good
Get
deal.
the fan deck here. We can
45.
talk about that.
Yeah, so I'll let you introduce them and then launch into your first, let's talk about house painting. How do we
Yeah.
start?
What's the first thing you need to do?
30 seconds.
This is one of those things I don't feel like I have an eye for it. Our house already was painted So now that some of you have a little more time off with this summer, taking that time off, we know that you probably have a lot of home improvement projects on tap.
Absolutely, and if you're not outside in the garden, you may be inside worrying about painting, and that is where Michael Gorman from Fresh Coat Painters comes in. Michael, you know, the big question is, where do you begin with a project like this?
Well, first place you start, whether you're doing it yourself as a DIY project, or whether you're hiring a pro, it's getting your head around color.
Right, and there's a whole lot to choose from.
I mean, no wonder people have some confusion over choosing color. In fact, they say 47% of projects that don't happen or get delayed are because people can't decide on color.
So what do you recommend on how people should start deciding?
You know, trust your gut. Most people already have a sense of what the color is that is their favorite color. So then start to think about the range of those colors. So this is intimidating, but let's say gray. Gray's a really popular color right now. So
it's somewhere in there.
This whole section here.
So within the grays, there's all sorts of choices that you can grab. Take a few and choose from those.
So I want to ask you, once you get that color picked out, if you're doing this yourself, where do you see the most pitfalls? Where do people go wrong?
Few things. They don't trust their gut long term, so they put a little bit of paint on the wall and then they back off of that. The other thing
call
is,
it modern art at that point.
I really recommend these. You can get them at Dunn Edwards or Sherwin for $3. And peel and stick. You paint one side of it, and then you can stick it on your wall. Don't go painting squares on your wall. That creates a whole problem with prep. Then when you paint over that, it's going to show through, so you're going to use extra paint.
It won't be even, okay.
Correct. Then the other thing is use a good brush. These Purdy brushes are about $20. This will last for a lifetime for you.
How do you know whether you should be using a brush or a roller or something like that?
Right.
Typically you're using a roller for the larger wall spaces.
Okay.
And then when you get close to the ceiling or down along the bottom and the baseboards, then you get the brush out and you use that. And then you blend those two in as the painting goes along.
Right. I worked at a hardware store back in high school, and I remember, you can get brushes for like a couple bucks, like $2 or $3.
Even the dollar store will sell them.
But if you're going to paint your living room and it's going to last for years, you probably want to spend a few extra bucks and make it quality.
Right. You're spending a couple $100s probably on paint.
Right.
You're going to have bristles fall off unless you have a good paint, a good brush. You're going to have it go into your paint. Yeah, spend the extra $5 for a good brush.
Last one, for anybody who hasn't tackled something like this, what's your timeline like? How long should you expect once you've picked your color and you're going to start? How should you get it wrapped up if we're just talking one room?
One room, if you're doing it yourself, put a day aside.
Okay.
If you're hiring pros, they can probably get one room done even faster. So Fresh Coat of Scottsdale, we've got employee painters, background check, they come in, they're experienced, they get it done really fast. So if you start a job and you're thinking, oh my God, this is too much work, call a pro.
Michael Gorman with Fresh Coat Paint, thank you so much. And if you got kids, might take even less time. Put them to work this summer and get your house repainted. Thanks so much for sticking with us, and we'll be right back after this break. Sorry. Good deal?
Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so
Nice
much.
meeting
That
you.
was great. No, that was fine.
ABC 15
is Arizona's all-news morning.
And this summer, we are giving you a live look this morning in the North Valley where the mountain fire is burning. This, of course, is near Cave Creek, and you can see the crews are up and at 'em on hand this morning.
They are, and this is as close as our photographer can actually get, at least safely, because we can tell you these flames are still burning on the ground. Firefighters, you see them out there, are working to contain this fire. Earlier today, it was at 0% containment, and it is proving incredibly difficult.
Yeah, and you can see that smoke just billowing in the background there, so no small feat out there. We will talk more about that fire and the efforts to fight it in just a moment, but first we want to welcome you to ABC 15 Mornings as we come up on 6:30 now. I'm Nohelani Graff.
And I'm Zach Crenshaw, and as those firefighters are out there, you may be getting out as well on this Saturday morning, wondering how you're going to tackle your day, whether it's with a hike or chilling by the pool, but there's not much chilling out there right now.
Not even a little bit. That is not a word that we'll be able to use for today. No. If you are thinking of hiking, we know there are a lot of diehards out there. Just do it early. That's the best that we can tell you. If you won't not hike, you've got to do it early. Get on those trails before noon today, because look at these temperatures. Even by 9, we're in the mid 80s, and you have got to hydrate and make sure that you are properly fueled. Also, if you're doing anything outside, also be mindful that our UV index is extreme today at an 11. So that means less than a 10-minute burn time. So lots of sunscreen as well, and apply often, reapply often. Now, we are going to talk about some extreme heat that's in the forecast. We will certainly be warm today, but then even warmer days are ahead. We'll go over that coming up in that most accurate forecast.
Well, we told you about it a few minutes ago. We want to get back to the mountain fire north of Cave Creek, and it has grown to more than 6,200 acres. You can see just the different views that we've gotten over the past 24 hours. Fire crews still out there working to keep it contained. Let's get to some live images right now from the area. This is as close as our crew can get. We mentioned the smoke and the flames still out there. Investigators say somebody started this fire around noon yesterday. It is human caused, and it quickly grew when winds started to pick up. Fire crews are attacking this blaze from all angles. They've been using helicopters, air tankers, on the ground, all of it. You can see right there, they were dropping stuff yesterday, and more resources are being called in today. Thankfully, no homes or structures are being threatened right now, and there are no injuries. But do not expect to go to Bartlett or Horseshoe Lake today. As of now, Bartlett Dam Road is closed right where it meets Cave Creek Road. All of the day use and campgrounds near both lakes are also shut down.
New for you this morning, the man who was shot in the groin with a pepper ball while protesting a visit by President Trump, you remember these images from just over a year ago, is now planning to sue the city of Phoenix. This actually happened back in 2017 when Phoenix police were trying to disperse protesters. Joshua Corbin here admits to kicking a tear gas canister back towards officers just before he was then hit with that pepper ball. He now tells our news partners at KTAR that he has decided to sue after seeing reports about the Plainview Project, which documented officers across the country, including here in Phoenix, allegedly making biased posts on social media.
Well, more fentanyl found on the streets, and this was no small bust here in the valley. We're talking about thousands of dollars worth. Now, these 3 men, who you're about to see in a second, or these 3, there's a woman there as well, are now behind bars. Deputies busting them after they exchanged more than 14,000 pills of the deadly drug outside Arizona Mills Mall on Wednesday. Now, DEA officials say fentanyl still is on the upward climb in our state, and every one of these busts could potentially be saving thousands of lives.
It's always good news. Anytime we can take this product, especially a product that's this powerful and this deadly, off the street, we know we're making a difference.
Making a difference indeed. The DEA adding that they want parents to be on the lookout for these drugs. They're sometimes disguised as oxycodones. They're saying teens are getting a hold of them, so be on the lookout because even one pill can be deadly.
2 top-level state prison officials are set to retire now after ABC 15's Unlocked and Unsafe investigation. Division Director Carson McWilliams and Regional Operations Director Ernest Trujillo will retire in the coming weeks. Both men had direct oversight over Lewis Prison, and that is where our ABC 15 investigator Dave Biskobing spent weeks exposing serious and really inexcusable security failures, like prison cells that don't lock. The problems have also led to multiple inmate deaths and ambush assaults on officers who work there. McWilliams and Trujillo are the first executive level officials to leave. A warden and deputy warden also resigned and retired earlier this week after we exposed video there that shows inmates running around setting fires inside what is supposed to be a maximum security unit.
Well, here are some of the top stories happening right now. The Trump administration has suspended the tariffs he says he was going to put in place on Mexico. And the president says Mexico agreed to stem the tide of migration through their country. A judge has ordered Kevin Spacey's accuser to turn over his phone to Spacey's defense team for examination. The actor is facing felony indecent assault and battery charges after that man claimed Spacey groped him at a bar back in 2016. Now, Spacey, the famous actor, has pleaded not guilty. And dramatic new video from North Carolina, where heavy rains brought flash flooding and prompted these water rescues. You can see rescuers pushing that car out of the deep waters, more than 2 inches falling in some places in just 1 hour.
Well, and on that note, Zach, the start of monsoon 2019 still about a week away, but the time to prepare is now. In fact, Monsoon Awareness Week begins tomorrow. Dust storms, certainly one of the first big threats that we see each monsoon. And right now, researchers at the U of A are trying to figure out whether those storms can be more predictable. ABC 15's Cameron Pullum shows us what they're working on.
In the middle of the Arizona desert,
looking for a spot with no big rocks.
Tests are being performed, the results of which may save lives when dust morphs into a wall of chaos.
I-10 is right here, and at many places near I-10, dust storms can develop very quickly.
Atmospheric research scientist Kyle Ryan says when that happens, visibility for those on the roads can go to zero quickly.
There's very large potential for wrecks.
But what if experts could predict what regions of the state are more vulnerable to those dangerous storms by the type of soil in the area?
So the name of the game is to really get an idea of how the soil varies and how that variability affects dust production.
To find that out, we're here at Picacho Peak, spinning soil using a portable wind tunnel powered by 2 car batteries.
Good to go.
Ryan slowly increasing power until it registers enough wind inside the dome to produce a dust storm. And it didn't take long to get a result.
So if a 5-mile-per-hour wind came through here, that would be enough to start a small dust storm off of this soil surface.
But soil surface can vary dramatically throughout the state.
The moisture of the soil, the relative humidity of the atmosphere, what used to be grown on the soil, all of these factors play in.
So collecting as many tests as they can helps paint a better picture of problem areas that may need corrective action.
I know ADOT had put on a lot of that soil sealant just a few miles that way, and they saw really good results.
In the end, they hope their research helps make dust storms more predictable by providing important data to better understand one of our state's unique challenges. I'm Cameron Pullum, ABC 15 Arizona.
And I mean, it is coming. That's what we're going to expect, the official start of monsoon in about a week, but already this is the beginning of it with the heat.
Right, and a lot of people think monsoons and they just think rain. Of course, those haboob's a real threat. Valley fever, something that people, should be concerned about. Always have an extra mask in your car because those dust storms, as we all know, can strike out of absolutely nowhere.
Exactly. You also need the practical things. You need to be carrying water at all time, especially starting this weekend as we warm into those triple digits.
Right.
We talked about the sunshades. You want to make sure that you have those ready in your car. Right now, the temperatures are pretty comfortable and mild out there. We're in the 70s, so it's a mild start. We have very light breezes, but then we will warm into the triple digits. It will be a warm afternoon. We've also got those air quality alerts in effect all weekend long, so be mindful of that. Around the state, if you're looking for relief, head on up to the high country. Of course, the roads are going to be packed, certainly, because this is that first really warm weekend that we've got. But up there, 76 degrees and sunny skies in Flagstaff. You really can't beat that. Show Low will be a little bit more mild in the low 80s, and Prescott is like the Goldilocks of these temperatures, right in the middle there, 85 degrees. It'll be clear and sunny. Statewide will also stay dry. Some clouds will start to move in tomorrow, though. I'm going to talk about how that affects the forecast and and also when we're going to start to see those really dangerously hot temperatures. That's coming up in that 7-day forecast.
Well, you've probably seen it, Alec Baldwin's impersonation of President Trump on Saturday Night Live, but it may be no more. The actor told USA Today, quote, he's done. Well, the show is in a hiatus for the summer now, but he says he will not be returning for the role next season. Baldwin won an Emmy in 2017 for his take on our current president. And are you the next Mega Millions winner? The drawing last night was up to $530 million.
I feel like every time we do one of these stories now, it's like, this was the next biggest and the next biggest.
Right.
So this was the 7th largest jackpot in the game's history. No word yet if anybody in Arizona won, so hang on to those tickets.
Right.
So far, if you have not had a chance yet, we're going to refresh you with the numbers here. 17, 19, 27, 40, 68, and the mega ball is 2. So check those tickets, go scan them, and we'll cross our fingers for you.
Right,
then
give
us a call.
Yeah, exactly. You read my mind. Hey, we can be friends.
All right, some new residents are over at the Phoenix Zoo. First, baby pygmy owls. Look at how little. 4 of them were just born this week, but their eyes are still so big. The zoo, along with the Arizona Center for Nature Conservation, says that this is their first successful breeding and hatching event for this type of owl. And then also on the right-hand side of your screen, you're seeing the Mexican gray wolf puppies. This is the first litter to be born there in 20 years, so it's a really big deal for them. Look at how cute those little pups look now. That's also a big deal because they are an endangered species. So go support those efforts out at the Phoenix Zoo and take a look.
So cute, but they're going to be full-grown wolves here before you know it,
there
right?
will
And
be.
hunting in packs.
Very cool. Hey, if you're shopping for a new car, you don't have to get trapped with the dealer's financing. We're going to look at your options to maybe help you save a little bit of money.
Plus, a near collision between a U.S. Navy ship and a Russian vessel this week. It has the officials from both countries pointing the finger at who's at fault. Sharman. Okay, Sharman, what do we got here? Where do you want to start?
So this is, eggs aren't just for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So since the kids are home, we have the egg salad sliders on a little slider thing. So that's just an egg salad. We also did an egg pizza, and that's very vegetarian friendly.
Okay.
So just cooking the eggs in the oven on pizza dough. And this is a street corn taco, so we have that Mexican street corn.
Awesome.
And then we gently poached an egg. And then this is the star recipe for dinner. These are dinner eggs. So dinner eggs, we have a mockumentary going on. They're hens that lay eggs at night are called night shifters. It's just a big joke.
Hens only lay during the day.
Yeah, but we have a fun
So, like, I
mockumentary.
shouldn't actually be like, they're dinner-specific eggs. No, all eggs are the same. Got it.
You could have fun with it. You got
Okay.
night shifters, hens laying eggs at night for, dinner eggs. Yeah.
Well, welcome back. It is about 6:45 on this Saturday morning. And if you're just waking up, you may be throwing some eggs on the stove right now to get your breakfast started. But eggs are not just for breakfast. And we're going to talk about that here in a second with Charmin Hickman with Hickman's Family Farms. Thank you so much for joining us, first and foremost.
Well, thank you for inviting us at our perfect time of day.
Absolutely. And this is where you make your money, right here. It's a breakfast. But talk to us about, it's not just breakfast where eggs can really shine.
Right. We all know that we compete with people's travel time, and so the American Egg Board developed some nice dinner egg recipes. So studies show 42% of Americans eat dinner at home during the week, so we just decided to make an egg pizza right here, and that's very vegetarian friendly. And also, the kids are home from school. This is a cute little egg slider boat. And that's something they can take to school, to the park. Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, school's
Grab
out right
and go.
now, but it's
Take
perfect
and
for
go.
a picnic if you're going up to the high country.
That's right. Keep them cool. And so you always wondered what people are doing with those spiral zucchini noodles.
Right.
We added some wheat pasta, and of course we put a poached egg and some chili flakes
Beautiful.
on it. We added some street corn tacos. So Taco Tuesday can be for eggs too.
Taco Tuesday, it's a few days away, and nothing's better than tacos, number one. I'm a huge connoisseur. But yeah, I mean, you can make them in the morning, get a little chorizo if you like meat, or you can just do egg tacos with some potatoes, kind of like you have here.
Yes, that's right.
That's
and
awesome.
This is our star recipe, so we're going to
Okay.
put you to work. We just did some salmon fillets.
Ooh.
You can just lift those up, put that on a bed of Asian salad.
And how did you...
And the marinade is super easy. It's 2 tablespoons of low-sodium soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, 2 tablespoons sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of ginger.
Beautiful.
Just whisk that marinade, throw it on the top.
You have no excuse
That's right.
to do it,
and
to
guess
not do
what? You asked where are the eggs on this whole thing, because, you know, 7.5 million chickens need to have some place in this. So we just put them right on top of there.
And tell me kind of, I mean, salmon people don't think of associated with eggs, but what does the egg do to the salmon? I mean, kind of talk to me about it.
Well, the salmon is chock full of omega-3, and we're all searching for omega-3. And so the carotenoids in the yolk and the emulsifiers in the yolk just really enhance your body's ability to absorb all those vitamins and minerals.
I know, I love eggs, great protein as well. And you guys sell eggs as well at your farm.
That's right. We have a little egg store, and if you use the code DINNEREGGS, you get a special price discount. So these are for the chickens. We call them night shifters. They're laying eggs at night. So we just had a little fun with it. So for your dinner eggs, we have a cute little
That's awesome.
display carton for you.
I'm normally a night shifter reporter, but I'm on mornings today.
That's why we're here for you.
That's right. Charmin, thank you so much. So go check them out. Get a discount with the code DINNEREGGS.
DINNEREGGS, right, exclusively at our Hickman Egg Store in Jackrabbit and Southern.
Okay.
Shout out to Buckeye.
Good to know. So go pick yourself up a dozen of eggs and then start making some of these recipes. You have no excuse during these summer months.
Right.
No, hey, let's check the weather now.
Yeah, we love brunch at this time of day. I know you're not familiar, usually sleeping, so we're all about the eggs at this time. Thanks, guys. Certainly, if you're going to enjoy brunch outside, you better make sure that there are some misters overhead, but really you may want to opt for indoors once we get into those later afternoon hours. Giving you some views around the state. In the valley, we see some smoky skies. Our view from South Mountain here looking towards the north. We do have the mountain fire burning, so a little bit of haze there. Up north at the Grand Canyon, we've got clear blue skies up there and more moderate temperatures. Live view of Camelback Mountain right now, not looking too shabby either. Blue skies and mild temperatures. 75 in Phoenix. We're still in the upper 60s in Glendale. Everybody else, Mesa, Avondale, Chandler, warming into the low 70s at this hour. So hour by hour, we'll be in the 80s by 8, 9 o'clock this morning. By 11, if you are starting to make those brunch plans, we'll already be in the 90s. So keep that in mind. And by lunchtime, then we're hitting those triple digits, but we're staying in the low 100s. Just a little bit of perspective for you today. Then when our temperatures drop this evening, we're still rather warm, so dinner might even be a little bit warmer in the 90s. Allergy sufferers, you get a little bit of relief today and Monday. Tomorrow will be the more difficult day if you are sensitive to mesquite, grasses, or ragweed. Forecast highs across the state. If you're headed to the high country, you're in store for a beautiful day. It's going to be 78 at the Grand Canyon, where we just saw those live views. A little bit more mild in Flagstaff at 76 degrees. We're looking at 80 in Heber, 82 in Show Low. South of the rim is where we start to pick up the heat, though. Stafford, 99 today. Same with Casa Grande and Tucson. Gila Bend hitting those triple digits, as well as Yuma topping out at 100. In the East Valley, we'll see some of the warmer temperatures, 102 in Chandler and Gilbert. Just a little bit cooler than that, but still in the triple digits in Tempe and Mesa, as well as Scottsdale. Cave Creek and Carefree looking to stay in the low to mid 90s, but that's still very warm, so still lots of water for you. More triple digits across the West Valley, 100 even at Luke Air Force Base, as well as Peoria and Glendale, 99 for Deer Valley this afternoon. Looking ahead at that future cast, we're going to continue to enjoy clear skies statewide, not a cloud in the forecast until tomorrow. Then early afternoon, we'll start to see some clouds roll in from the southeast, so we'll see some clouds in and out, but we'll still have mostly sunny skies as those clouds continue to track north, and we will stay dry. But looking ahead, we do have an excessive heat watch in effect Tuesday and Wednesday. We're talking about temperatures between 105 and 110, and those overnight lows will still be in the upper 70s and low 80s. So be mindful even this weekend as we hit those triple digits. The signs of heat stroke, call 911 if you start getting a headache, you're not feeling great, you start getting sick, and also if you have that rapid heartbeat. And if you're not sweating, that's not a good thing. Your body is not regulating its temperature, so be very careful. Also notice, today will be the more mild day of the weekend. Tomorrow we get warmer still at 105, and it's just the beginning. We continue to climb. Those extreme heat advisories on Tuesday and Wednesday, 109 and then 111, the warmest day of the week on Wednesday. We stay dry all week long, but certainly you've got to take precautions for this extreme, potentially dangerous heat, Zach.
No, hey, thank you. Well, across the world now to the Philippine Sea, where video captures a near miss between a Russian destroyer and a U.S. Navy-guided cruiser this week. You can see the video right here from the U.S. Navy. Both vessels armed with missiles and large guns. They came within 50 to 100 feet of colliding. Now it's the blame game. Russia says it was the Americans' fault, while naval officials called their actions irresponsible and reckless.
The behavior is unsafe and unprofessional. We'll have military-to-military conversations with the Russians.
Now, we've seen Russian warplanes and warships doing aggressive moves before, but this incident is raising a lot of eyebrows. We'll stay on top of it. Well, it seems you need a car to do just about anything these days. So if you're in the market for that perfect ride, how do you know which loan is right for you? Alison Rodriguez is breaking it all down in your Money Matters report.
Time for a new ride? How do you know where to start? There are lots of options, including refinancing, a new vehicle purchase, or cash out refinancing. And going with a local credit union versus a traditional bank, well, that could give you some flexibility plus a lower rate, and they work fast too.
Pre-approvals are as quick as 5 minutes.
Chip Griffith is the regional president of 1AZ Credit Union. He says when you go local, you can go from application to funding all in the same day. And there are good benefits to refinancing if that's what you need to do.
From lowering their rate, lowering their payment, or even skipping a month's payment.
Bottom line, when it's time for those new wheels, check out all of your options so you don't end up getting taken for a ride. For Your Money Matters, I'm Alison Rodriguez, ABC 15 Arizona.
If you'd like more tips, head to our website, abc15.com/money. Well, up next, your top stories, including the latest on this wildfire burning east of Cave Creek right now. Thanks so much for sticking with us. Now for a look at this morning's top stories. This is a live look up near Cave Creek where the mountain fire is burning between Bartlett Lake and Horseshoe Lake. The campgrounds in the area have been evacuated and completely closed off. Fire crews working right now to contain that fire that has torched over 66,000 acres in less than 24 hours. So far, though, no one has been hurt.
These 3 people are behind bars after local deputies say they were exchanging more than 14,000 pills of fentanyl right at Arizona Mills Mall this week. Drug enforcement officials say fentanyl is still on the upward climb in our state.
And a live look at the Loop 101 southbound near Elliott, where the project to add more lanes continues this weekend. The southbound lanes on the 101 from Warner to the 202 Santan will reopen Monday at 5 a.m. So be aware of that.
You can bet you're going to have that AC blasting out there today. Triple digits in the forecast, just the tip of the iceberg, though, because look, we get hotter tomorrow, and then by the middle of the week, extreme heat advisories in effect Tuesday into Wednesday. 111, the forecast high for Wednesday. Start hydrating now, every day.
Absolutely. We'll go out there, try and remain cool. Your news always on abc15.com. We'll see you back here in about an hour.
Perfect. OTT.